When Euphoria's finale aired and Rue died of a fentanyl overdose, almost everyone watching walked away believing the same thing, that she took too much, that the number was the problem, that if the dose had only been a little smaller, she'd have woken up. That's the part the story leaves you with, and it's the part that's wrong. Because in an operating room, fentanyl gets given on purpose, in real doses, to people who wake up perfectly fine. So the real question was never how much Rue took. It's what was already in her bloodstream waiting for it. I'm Dr. Karen Francois, a board-certified anesthesiologist. 15 years of putting people to sleep and waking them back up. Fentanyl is one of the most ordinary tools on the cart in nearly every anesthetic given in a modern operating room. So a death like Rue's doesn't read as a plot twist from inside the field. It reads as a mechanism, a specific and preventable one, wrapped inside a misunderstanding that's quietly killing people who think they already know what an overdose is. This is exactly the kind of thing this channel exists for. One of medicine's unexplained moments. The part the people it happens to never get told. The writers deserve credit first because they got the big thing right. Rue doesn't die from some exotic street drug. She relapses on what she believes are Percocet pills, and those pills are laced with fentanyl. That isn't science fiction. It's the single most common way young people are dying in this country right now, and the show didn't flinch from it. Counterfeit pills are the trap. They look pressed, they look real, and there's no way to tell by looking that the dose inside is lethal. One pill can be mostly filler, and the one beside it can be enough to stop a person breathing. So the setup is honest. Here's where the audience writes the wrong story. You watch her take the pills, you watch her not wake up, and the brain supplies the caption automatically. She overdosed because she took too much. The amount was the villain. That instinct, reasonable as it feels, is incomplete in a way that matters, and it's worth taking apart. Consider what happens in an operating room every day. Fentanyl goes into a vein, a real dose, a number that would frighten you if you saw it, and the patient is fine. I do this on every shift. Why does it work? Because the one thing the street can't control is controlled. The breathing is watched, it's ready to be supported, and everything else in that body is known. An opioid overdose death is, at its core, a breathing death. Fentanyl quiets the part of the brainstem that prompts the next breath. In a hospital, that's a managed effect. On a couch alone, it becomes the whole tragedy because there's no one there to breathe for you. But raw amount is only one dial. There's a second dial, and it's the one the audience never sees because it's invisible on screen. It's whatever else is already on board. And for a huge share of these deaths, that something else isn't another street drug at all. It's a pill millions of people have legally right now in a cabinet down the hall. The drug is a benzodiazepine. You know the brand names: Xanax, Valium, Klonopin. They're prescribed for anxiety, for panic, for sleep, and on their own, in the right hands, they're useful and common. That's exactly what makes them so dangerous in this story. Nobody pictures the calm little anti-anxiety pill as a killer. The physiology is simpler than people expect. Fentanyl turns down the drive to breathe from one direction. A benzodiazepine turns it down from another. Neither one alone might cross the line. Stacked together, they don't just add up, they multiply. And breathing slips below the level that keeps a person alive while it still feels like nothing more than falling asleep. And there's a second thing fentanyl does that almost no one outside anesthesia talks about. At higher doses, especially given fast, fentanyl can lock the muscles of the chest wall. It's called wooden chest syndrome, and it's exactly as grim as it sounds. The chest goes rigid, air physically cannot move, and that holds even when someone is right there trying to help. That isn't the dose being too big in the way people imagine. That's the drug doing something most people have never heard of. Put it together and the honest version of Rue's death isn't. She took too much. It's that fentanyl entered a body that wasn't ready for it, likely alongside something else quietly closing the same door, in a room where no one could open it back up. None of this is about winning an argument over a television show. It matters because the wrong mental model gets people killed. Believe that overdose is only about quantity, and you'll feel safe as long as you're careful with the amount. But someone who takes their anxiety pill, has a drink, then takes one counterfeit tablet they believe is harmless, did not take too much of anything by their own math. They stacked 3 depressants that each seemed fine alone. It's also why Naloxone, Narcan, isn't the guaranteed reset people assume. It can reverse the opioid, It does nothing for the benzodiazepine sitting beside it, and it can't always overcome a chest that's already locked. It saves lives, carry it, use it, but knowing its limits is what keeps it from being mistaken for a net that catches everything. And there's a newer problem on the street, making Narcan even less reliable, but that's a case for its own video. So here's the thing worth carrying out of this. Rue's death wasn't a story about a big number. It was a story about combination, about an invisible second drug, and about being alone when breathing quietly stopped. The amount is the part everyone sees. The mixture is the part that actually kills. And if one line should stick, let it come from someone who trusts this drug enough to use it every single day. There's almost no such thing as fentanyl alone. There's fentanyl, plus whatever's already in the body, plus whether anyone's there to notice. Respect all three and tell the people you love about all three, because the misunderstanding is the most dangerous part of all. If this changed how that scene reads, pass it to someone who watched the finale and thought they understood it. That conversation matters more than any episode. I'm Dr. Karen Francois. See you in the next case.
Like, comment, and follow for more.